So the Trailblazers is a youth-based series on the Share Screen Africa platform where we share knowledge about conservation, about different issues affecting us on the conservation space within Africa, and we have created the space to share dialogues and our experiences on what we're doing as young professionals on the African continent today to exchange and showcase our ideas as well of homegrown conservation and environmental solutions. And tonight's conversation is one that feels especially important in the world we live in today. Because while science gives us information, stories are what move people to care, to connect, and to ultimately act. We are continuing the series of communicating and conservation tonight as we're looking at the impact of social media. In a time of endless information, conservation communication can no longer only be about statistics or reports or even data. It must also be about the people and the people behind the screen, the emotions, etc. And so media and social media are such an important tool. And we have two amazing speakers tonight who are going to discuss this with the title "The Viewer's Lens: Using Empathy to Make Conservation Stories Resonate." And so we are incredibly fortunate to have Naomi Turama, I'm sorry if I said it wrong, and Ben Rubibi joining us from Rwanda to speak to us on the importance of social media. So yes, so Ben is a Rwandan digital communications expert with experience in NGOs and international development. He specializes in transforming complex technical information into engaging multimedia storytelling and is passionate about exploring the connection between nature, culture, and community as a videographer and photographer. And Naomi, well, she's a Rwandan conservation storyteller and digital communications professional with a background in conservation agriculture from Riga. He's passionate about biodiversity conservation and environmental education, using digital media and photography to inspire people to connect with nature and African cultures. I'm so excited to have you both speak to us about this very important topic as we all use social media. So I'm excited to hear more about it. But over to you, Ben. Thank you so much for the time that you've taken to speak to us.
Okay, hello everyone, hello Africa, and the rest of the world. It's my absolute pleasure to be here tonight to share what I've learned about digital storytelling on platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, especially in conservation work. So basically, I work as a videographer and photographer, and my love for creating digital contents comes from the interest I pick up by the streets, in people, in nature when I go in the wild to explore, and in culture. So that's the kind of work I do. And today I want to show you how I do it and why I think it is important. But before we talk about how to create, we first need to talk about who we are creating for. Yeah, that's why I gave my presentation this title, Know Your Audience, Own Your Story. Because when you understand the person watching, you start making contents that truly connects with them. Posting online is very different from creating something for a real person with real feelings and needs. So by the end of this presentation, I want you to be able to post. I don't want you to be able to post online. I want you, whether you are starting a personal brand or just posting something on your status, I want your content to feel more clear, more intentional, and carry more weight. So who is really on the other side of your screen? Who is your audience? Now, let me bring this question to the specific work I do at Share Screen Africa and Leadership for Conservation in Africa. You know the audience based on the core purpose of your brand. So for the brand I work for, Share Screen Africa and LCA, I would say know the I would know the audience based on what they do. Which story are they trying to tell? What kind of reputation do they want to maintain? And that matters in digital content creation. For example, I create content for ShareScreen Africa. And what is ShareScreen Africa? Is a project by the Leadership for Conservation in Africa that helps people across Africa learn, share knowledge about nature. And the intentions of all of this, it is to connect students, nature enthusiasts, researchers, universities, and conservation organizations to learn from each other, build skills, and find practical and career opportunities in conservation. So in this regard, when I sit down to create, let's say, a reel, or let's say I want to post a certain picture that I took in the wild, I'm not creating for one person. I'm creating for this student who attend one of our talks. I'm creating for this lecturer at this certain university in Rwanda or Johannesburg. I'm creating for people like those. So I have like more, like at least like five very different people at once at my task. And my task is to try to find the best content that speaks to all of them. Then the next thing I want to talk about is what are the social media users, what are they looking for? What is my audience? What is it that it is looking for? So, what is it that the audience I've described above is actually looking for? Let's say when they open their Instagram, when they open their Facebook, let's say they are searching for job opportunities on LinkedIn, or they want to learn more about their profession. So for me, in my perspective, I think, and based on my experience, the first thing they look for is emotional connection. Whether it's wonder, they want hope, maybe they want to feel pride, but they have to, at the end of their consumption, at the end of watching a certain piece of content, they have to feel something. So there is a post I worked for. I think it's on the left side of the screen. Let me try to play it. Okay, you can see elephants. And it shows how a drone at night can save elephants' lives and farmers' harvest. I was referring to one of the talks that ShareScreen Africa hosted, where the Mara Elephant Project that uses that covered how the Mara Elephant Project in Kenya uses night vision drones to deter elephants from farmlands. Most people know how devastating it is to have an elephant raiding your crops. It is something that farmers feel heavily. While I was sitting creating this content, I wanted the audience to learn something they didn't know. I wanted them to learn a surprising fact. And a surprising fact sometimes it can be, I never thought about it that way moment. And then the other thing that social media users that are looking for, or the audience, is great visuals that stop the scroll. It is a post. This is a post on the right that shows lions. I made it to show lions shrinking population. As you can see, it is bold, but it's also simple to understand. With content like this carousel, my intention was I wanted viewers to stop and ask why. because my brand, what it needs, what ShareScreen Africa needs, is for people to go back to educational resources that they post on YouTube and be able to learn more. So with this post, I hope a certain number of audience stopped and asked them why. Why is the lion population shrinking? And then they went back to the links that we post in the bio, and they went to our YouTube to learn more about this case. And this brings me down to a call to action. When you do a certain post, you have to also to post or to write a call to action, whether it's in at the end of your video or in a caption. In my case, it is a reason to learn more. A call to action, it is a reason for the audience to attend our talks on conservation issues. If you have an eco-lodge business that you want to promote using social media, you can make a call to action that gives your viewers, your audience, a reason to visit your eco-lodge or any other thing that you want your audience to do at the end of the piece of content. Then I also want to share 3 simple numbers that changed the way I think about video editing. Because why I'm saying video editing, it's because sorry, most of the platforms online, they are video friendly. If we can look at, let's say, Instagram, TikTok, even if you can look at LinkedIn, they started like promoting short form videos. That's why it is important to highlight on videos. So here are 3 numbers that changed the way I think about video editing. First is 8 seconds. That is about how long people pay attention on social media today. Years ago, it was just longer. But now you only have a very short moment to make someone stop scrolling and watch. You have, and the next number is, I want to talk about this 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds. People usually decide the first 3 seconds if they will continue watching or scroll away. So your beginning must quickly catch the attention. It has to be so good. I like to talk to one of my friends like to tell me who is also a videographer. Like your 3 seconds has to slap. Use word slap. Yeah. And then the third number I want to share with you is most people watch videos without sound. So around 60 to 90% of viewers keep their phones silent. So this means that if you have a video that only depends on talking, many people will miss the message. So captions and text on the screen are very important. But the other thing that can be done if you shoot a certain video for the social media is that you can make sure that your message can be delivered without sound. It's obvious. Yeah. And then I'm going to talk about platform behavior. A quick thing to understand is that people act differently depending on the platform they are using. The same person might watch your content in a completely different way on each application. On Instagram, people scroll very quickly. Your content has to grab attention immediately. This is your 3 seconds. You have to use it very well. Short reels usually work best. And for carousel post, like this post where you post many slides of pictures, that contain a certain message that you want to deliver, or just pictures. And carousel posts also work based on Instagram. And when you are posting a carousel post, the first slide has to be strong enough to make people want to keep swiping. Then on Facebook, people are more willing to stop and read. Posts get more reach when people share them, and groups are usually very attractive. When I think about Facebook, Facebook is mostly used by millennials. Uh, Mostly our parents uses Facebook. That's why they still have this. They can still engage for a little longer than people who use Instagram, who are mostly young people. And then WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, things feels more personal and trusted. WhatsApp, on WhatsApp, you have to be very authentic when sharing a piece of content. I don't think an AI content, unless it's for entertainment, it can it can be well received on WhatsApp because people want like true voices. They want to hear your voice. They want to hear your a selfie. Where are you now? A video note, something like that. So simple videos and personal tone work well on WhatsApp. So you have to be very authentic. Then on YouTube, people usually come looking for the content on purpose. So they search for it and they are willing to watch longer, more and more detailed videos. There are other social media platforms, many more social media platforms, and people behave differently. For example, the other social media platform I didn't include on this list is, let's say, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, most people go to LinkedIn to search for job opportunities, also to uh, to search for the academic, for the schools, also check on what their professional friends are achieving in life, but they can also post what they want. So they behave differently. The language is more professional, and there is not that much more entertaining content on LinkedIn. Then I want to pass you through my workflow. I hope that maybe you can learn something from my workflow and how I do my content. Like mostly I work with Zoom recorded meetings, and my work start by receiving a Zoom a Zoom meeting that is recorded, and then my first task is to repurpose it for YouTube. So what I do is to add the intros to introduce the video, cut some unwanted parts where, let's say, the speaker is silent, like what I'm doing. And then the next part is, after uploading, I revisit the video and then I go back and listen through the recording again, mostly skimming and searching for the moments that would work well on social media. And sometimes it's a statistic, it's a powerful story, it's a good answer that a speaker gave to the audience. And then I take those timestamps or those small clips that I caught, and then I repurpose them for social media. And honestly, this part really requires me to listen a lot. Listen. And I think content creation is more of listening and learning a lot than just producing stuff. Because you cannot find the right moment unless you're truly paying attention and asking yourself, if you ever went to the nature in the wild, in the forest, let's say to do birding, what do? You are patient. You become patient and then you wait for the right moment for this bird to land on this branch so that you can look at it or so that you can take a picture of it. So, going to my last slide, I think understanding your audience is just empathy. And being empathetic about your audience is what makes a great content. This reminds me of something important I try to follow whenever I make content. I always try to see things from the audience's side before I choose a clip, before I share something online. I've, I just ask myself, what does this person already understand? What will catch their attention? What would confuse them? And my job, which I want to be yours, is to basically help connect, um, help connect with your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ben. That was such a great presentation. I think one thing that resonated with me, especially around your workflow, no, sorry, not the workflow, but how the three, you said the three words or the three numbers, my apologies, that
Yeah,
you remember. It's 8 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds,
yeah.
and 3 seconds, and that the content, the caption must slap. So someone even wrote it in the oh, slap, right, right. Yeah, someone wrote it in the chat as well. And I agree. Most people nowadays we watch in silence when they're on the bus, when the some
Yeah,
people in the office. But
yeah.
yes, so you're just scrolling, and you can't have anything that's gonna die, you know. Anyway, the great presentation. Thank you so much. We'll come back to it, but
You're
now I'd just
welcome.
like to give the floor to Naomi.
Thank you, Sam, and thanks, Ben. My name is Naomi Nautarama, and I'm a digital content creator and conservation storyteller. I work for ShareScreen Africa. And so tonight, I want to complement to what Ben has spoken about. He spoke about understanding your audience, platform behavior, and content workflow, as he mentioned. And with that being said, I want to use that as a foundation of what I will talk about. And I will start with telling you a story of Akamene Island, which we documented myself and Ben. And it shows how nature changes narratives. So, allow me to take you somewhere in southwestern Uganda. It's right at the edge of the border with Rwanda. There is a lake called Lake Bunyonyi, and it is one of the deepest lakes in Africa. Still water, 29 islands scattered across its surface. One of those islands is called Akamene Island, and it carries a powerful story. And if you had visited it in 1990s, you might have found a young woman there, pregnant, alone, and abandoned by her own family. She would have been left to that tiny island that you're seeing on the right picture, surrounded by water with nowhere to go and no one coming. So some were eventually rescued. Akamene was once known as a punishment island. It was a place where communities sent young women who became pregnant outside of marriage. Maybe before, maybe they were underage, something like that. So they were sent there not to be supported, but to disappear. Yet, in the evening, in the darkest chapters, humanity found at night men who could not afford the bride price paddled out to the island and chose these women as their wives. They saw in them love, family, and dignity. But today, Akamene Island is no longer a place of exile. It's a sanctuary. A lone tree stands at the center of the island. Now it's full of life. The great cormorant has made it its home. Hundreds of birds nest together, raising their young, loud and vibrant with the life. I remember as our boat circled the small island, I felt deeply moved watching these birds find a place called home. I imagine after migrating from place to place, they had finally found a place to rest. So I felt really hopeful. Akamene shows how nature can transform a narrative. So notice how you feel right now after this story. Perhaps your chest, imagine how you felt bad about these women that were left alone on an island. Perhaps you felt something like softened in your heart when you pictured the great cormorants nesting together in the lone tree. Or maybe you're holding both feelings at once, the grief of what happened there and the hope of what the island has become. So that is empathy at work. Stories have the power to transform places we've never been to and creators we've never met. What once was a site of exile is now filled with birdsong, life, and belonging. So empathy is not a technique as such. You don't use it when you've written the story before, after. You think of the emotions that you would like your story to awaken in your audience. Hope, renewal, sadness, or maybe information, or maybe something beyond words. Something that was love, as Ben said. So as we go here from tonight, whether you're a researcher, a communicator, a filmmaker, or simply someone who loves natural world and want others to love it too, know your audience and blend empathy into every conservation story you tell. Thank you. Back to you, Samantha.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful and thought-provoking story. It must have been such a journey to go there and to hear that and to see that for yourselves, to actually be there in person. You described it so beautifully, and with your pictures, it was absolutely breathtaking. Thank you so much for that, and thank you both, Ben and Naomi, for taking this time to speak to us about the importance of keeping your audience as a primary point of contact, as well as the emotions behind the message, as well as the process that you took us through, Ben, about social media and content creation. I love what Naomi said, and I think this is something that we should take home as a take-home message about empathy, that stories have the power to connect us to places we've never been to. Emotions awaken. And I think when we use social media, it's something that we need to remember, that emotions awaken. And I think it's through the stories. So this one is for Ben. He says, how does one create catchy captions that slap, especially when you're trying to send a strong message concerning informative information? I'm asking from a point of an individual who's not so creative.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Soleto. I think I know you in person. You're such a soulful, eloquent woman. And I think what you have to do is to believe in yourself. Believe that you can. And create from your heart. Yeah, most of the things we share online are vague. It's just, okay, let me just post this meme. Maybe you're the only one who knows the context of that meme. But I think if you can be able to create from your heart, you can just create catchy captions that slaps. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. And I think just on that point about creating captions, I'm also interested, I think, in also just your creative process, because I know some of the pictures, especially in your introductory slide, you took some of those pictures even throughout the presentations. Like, how do you get to the moment where you see an object in nature or a bird or whatever it is and think to yourself, this would make a beautiful story for social media?
Yeah, I think it's about perspective. I think each one of us, we have this, I like this moment. This looks so good. And then when you take that moment and back it with the basics, let's say the basics of photography, the basics of videography, that's how you come up with great content for social media or for any other purpose.
So let's also ask, I'm curious about how the creative process works. How do you make videos that grab at the attention of young people, but still feel right for the older viewers in conservation? How do you strike the balance so it's not boring for one group or too informal for the other?
One thing that I have to mention is that low engagement doesn't mean that a post is bad. Sometimes it's a really good post, but also it depends where you've posted it and what did you write. Because a caption for Instagram, for instance, is not the same, doesn't work the same on LinkedIn. Because on LinkedIn, people tend to go there to read and inform themselves. So it might have a low engagement, let's say on Facebook, but has a higher engagement on Instagram, depending of what's your post like. Is it a reel? If it's a reel, is it using trendy visuals? Is it visually appealing? Is it informing? What is it trying to inform? So there are quite factors that you have to look at. And you can't just say it has a low engagement. There are so many factors that goes with a post having low engagement. What would you consider a successful social media post? As long as I've put my post out and I'm convicted that this is the message that I want to convey and this is how I want to convey it. If there is one like, I feel like it's successful because I want someone to see it and engage. That's already an impact that I want to see out there. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Ben, would you like to answer the other question from Soletu about how you make your videos grab the attention of young people in the audience as well as older people, and how do you strike the balance between making the video not boring but also not too informal?
Yeah. Soletu mentioned something about content that feels right. The thing about social media is an influential tool. And if you can look at the influential people that ever lived in this world, let's say Martin Luther King, they were very influential, but they were not right for everyone. So at the end of the day, if you want to make a very compelling, very good social media content, it makes people feel something. And some audience can feel something bad, and the other audience can feel something good. I think what matters is just replying, understanding your call, and replying to that audience, certain audience that you are targeting. Yeah, and being bold to accept bad comments, criticism. Yeah, that's what I think. Hope that I answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. And I think it goes back to the title, knowing your audience. And hopefully being able to reach those who need to hear your message at the end of the day. I think outside a question about social media also needs people who, or at least people who are confident and brave enough to post, right? So, like, how do you, either of you can answer this question, how do you get the courage to post something and to put out your message to a vast audience? How do you get that courage, or how do you go through that process of posting? Because oftentimes you see some content creators actually post themselves, they speak to the camera, others it's just pictures and movement and stuff. But based off of your style, how do you find the confidence to actually get to the point of posting and sharing your story?
From my side, I think confidence comes from allowing myself to fail. Like, okay, let me see how it turns out today. Okay, if I fail, okay, it is what it is. But I just want to share this message. That's where I get confidence. Yeah, and also, uh, but personally, it's something I like. I like to share the message I want to share.
Naomi, do you want to answer? Then I'll go to Stella's question.
I want to share that the importance to share a message or how it's dear to your heart that you want to put it out there has to be greater than the imposter syndrome that you have, because you're not showing yourself yet. Like the story that you want to share and what you care about has to have a greater capacity than just you who is going to tell the story. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Thank you so much. Especially around imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people we suffer from that without even realizing it. But that second guessing, that hesitation. Yeah. Thank you so much for your answer.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sam. And thank you so much, Ben and Naomi. I really enjoyed this talk. And just to it relates so much to me. Like when Ben said that you should just share something that your heart wants. It should come from your heart. You reminded me 2 days ago. I also have low confidence. Sometimes I feel like, I shouldn't post this. Should I post? I want to share something, but I'll be like, no, I can share this. But 2 days ago, I met a situation where I met some people who were really sick and they really needed help, and it touched my heart. And I shared the story from my heart. I didn't even think twice because I really I like it. It really touched me. So when I shared it, it touched a lot of people. And yeah, so I just want to agree with what Ben said, that if it comes from your heart, you write it from your heart, there is you in there. People will really get touched by it. Yeah, and my question is similar to what you've asked, Sam. It's like you copied me. That was my question. But yeah, Ben and Naomi, I want to know what inspired you to be content creators. And do you have someone who inspired you? What inspired you? Who inspired you? And what's so special about that person? If you were given a chance to share a screen with one of the content creators in Africa, who would it be?
Okay, starting from the last question, I personally don't have like my favorite content creator. I just appreciate like people's work, but it's not that I don't even know like their names. Then regarding the person who inspired me to be a content creator, but I don't think I'm like that active content creator. I may say I'm just a videographer and photographer, but content creation have to be very active, post every day. Your shop has to open every day. Huh? Yeah, that's where I want to be. But I think it all comes down to where I was born. My father was an amateur photographer and he was a stay-at-home dad. And when I was young, it used to make me, I didn't like it that much. I was like, why don't I have like a father like other fathers who go to work, make a lot of money, wear suits, something like that. But now that I'm older, I appreciate it. It's like the world conspired for me to be who I am today. And yeah, I think I think those are the roots.
Thank
For
you,
me, I
Ben.
would say, thanks, Ben. For me, I would say I learned from different content creators on their touch, on how they communicate, or their visuals, or they how they perceive storytelling in conservation. But there are two uh, content creators. One is into filmmaking and documentaries. Because I grew up again watching documentaries. My father used to put in documentaries, and I started watching them by force. And later I loved them. I loved it very much. So The first one that I would say is Patrick Fay. He's French. And the second one is a lady from Kenya, Mara in Imara, on Instagram. That's her name is Mara. I love how she shares her stories in the wildlife. Also, like a lady in Rwanda called Niheza Deborah. Yeah, she's a photographer now. She's a wildlife photographer. Seeing all those type of people sharing their stories, and the good thing with this is how you see that we have different perspective. We can look at one thing, but we see it differently. We interpret it differently. We have different ways of thinking, and this is just beautiful. And when I tend to have imposter syndrome, I'm like, I really have a lot to say. Why can't I just put down this imposter syndrome and make an impact and share my story and share what I love? Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely love those responses. And Naomi, just to go off of what you just said, to share your story. And it's also let's thank you so much. I love the engagement. She says, focusing on the views and social media engagement, how do you know not let low engagement affect your confidence? And I think you answered this a bit, and also your delivery capacity into consideration that other employers take viewers and numbers important. Oh, okay. So how do you manage the low engagement, especially let's say if your organization needs higher numbers or views for your social media content? Because that maybe affects your delivery outputs or capacity.
Okay, I care. When I have low engagement, I just learn like what went wrong regarding my piece of content. But other than that, it doesn't lower my confidence because I think you have to have a certain amount of delusion about you because well, I don't know. I feel like you are smart. You are a human being. You created something. It's worth something. Like the how people reacted to it doesn't have to reflect the worth of it. So just it's about understanding perspective. And the other thing is just try to imagine if like 10 people like the video I made. Imagine bringing 10 people in this room. It's a lot of people. If you have ever went to spoken word cafes, it's that audience, and you feel good when they clap. So it's all about perspective. Yeah, that's my answer. Thank you.
I wanted to say that it's very important as a digital content creator or if you are a social media manager for an organization, please give yourself a longer time and stay consistent with what you post and learn from what went well, what got more engagement, and keep making those. And where you failed, where you saw that there were low engagement, maybe you can pause a little bit and keep making those posts that got higher engagement and mix them, carousel post, reels, all that, because it reaches different type of people. Again, give yourself time. It's not like in a month you're going to get 1,000 followers. No. Yeah.
And I like Soletu's comment in the comments. She says Delulu is the Solulu. So good. I was laughing. Okay, so I'm gonna ask one more time, audience. Does anybody want to share their conservation story? I'll give you 3 minutes max. Ooh, we have a taker. Sella, please share your story with us.
Okay, I want to be brave and share my story. So, I am a conservation teacher, I can say. Yeah, not teacher, but still, teacher sounds very serious. Yeah, but I don't know what word to use. So, during the weekends, I go into the communities and engage with children, teaching them the basics of conservation. So during our first lesson, we taught this boy called Kelvin. Kelvin was about 11. And after teaching them 6 hours, our set of lessons, which are 6, we took them for an excursion into a wildlife area, which is Liwonde National Park, one of the biggest parks in Malawi. And that was my first time as well into the park. And we had students all of us, it was our first time. And we didn't see just animals, but we learned about trees and everything. When he went back home, this child planted trees at their house. And one day, as I was walking, I was a student by that time. I was walking, going into the campus. He called me and he asked me to go to his house one day. He invited me to visit him at the house. And I went. And then trees were there waiting for me. He showed me that, Selah, after you guys have taught me the importance of trees, I thought it's very nice for me to plant trees. And one day I want to grow up and have an organization, teach people about conservation as well. That really touched me. Because imagine you've taught a child and the child thinks on themselves and goes home and plants trees. Guys, that really meant a lot to me. So I just wanted to share this with you. Yeah, that's my conservation story.
Thank you so much, Stella. That was so beautiful. And it shows the power of even just like impacting or influencing one single person. And I think that's why it's so important what Naomi and Ben have been sharing today, because social media has the scope. It has a bigger scope, a bigger reach. You don't know who you'll be able to impact, how many people will be moved by your story. And Stella, I want to ask, did you share that story on social media? Did you post pictures of those trees? Are you Delulu enough for the Solulu? You
No,
should
I'm
be
not Delulu.
Delulu.
Yeah, if I could turn back time, I would go back and share this story.
Yeah.
After hearing of what Ben and Naomi have said today, I promise you, I have lots of stories, and from today I'll be sharing with them. Yeah, just
Yes.
last week I taught a child. Oh, a minute, just give me a minute. Last week I taught this child, and as we're finishing, he said he had something to say and was like, "Thank you so much. I'm so happy I was part of this program. I was one of the people who were destroying nature. I've come with my parents, I've poached before, and now I'm going back home as a changed person. I will protect nature and I will teach others as well." Oh my God. And yeah, I didn't share this one, but I'll share it tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, Ben and
You,
Naomi, you have changed me. You have won a so.
that's amazing. And it's important, I think. I know maybe some of us may not be social
Yeah.
media people or content creators, but surely you have engaged with social media in one aspect or the other. You might use Instagram, WhatsApp statuses, LinkedIn. So you're engaging with some type of content on social media. And so it's important to at least see where you fit in within the scope, especially around conservation, communication. It's so important because social media, like I said, and has been shown today, has a huge reach. And I think how you process is based on who you are is so important. So Ben and Naomi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experiences with us. It was such a learning opportunity for all of us. I just want to invite you both, in case you just have one parting word for us, a call to action, what would it be before we say goodnight?
Okay, mine would be just remember to live life worth sharing. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Ben.
that's a nice one. Mine would be go out there and share nature stories, conservation stories, where you are, and people will get to know you. I mean, fight that imposter syndrome. We're all in this fight together.
Come on. Yes.
Yeah.
So fight the imposter syndrome and share your story because it's worth sharing. Live your life. Well, what did you say? Live your life as a story worth sharing. Right? Oh God, it was there. Say it
It's
again.
okay. Live life worth sharing.
Yes, live life
Yes.
worth sharing. I think
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Thank you.